Welcome back to TV Travis. I'm Travis, and I'm here at Maker Faire, which if you haven't seen my video about last year, go check it out now. I'm here a little early because I gotta, once again, help Bob set up his stage show, and then I'm gonna film it. I know my whole shtick is kind of like I worked at the Onion, right? So what am I doing making a video about a convention for makers? Kind of has nothing to do with like politics or comedy or anything like that, but I really enjoy coming to these conventions and making these videos about them. I hope you do too, because I'm gonna keep doing it whether you like it or not. It gives me a lot of hope about the future, and honestly, that's kind of what I want to do with my YouTube channel, is like get people hopeful about the future by either educating them about the present or getting them hype about cool inventions that people have made that are going to change the world. Got a lot of really good interviews lined up for you. I talked to Shawn Thorsson again from last year's Maker Faire video. We're going to see Bam from my open source video give a talk. Of course, there's Science Bob in the CrunchLabs booth. I don't know, maybe I finally get that interview with the guy that made the life-size Dalek. One of the running themes of these convention videos is that I personally struggle with like depression, especially right now. So going to conventions like this, making those little connections with like makers and people I've seen at other conventions like this, that just like helps me internally feel a lot better about the world, my place in it, and what people are doing to improve it. All right, let's start out with the familiar. A lot of the same things I saw at Maker Faire last year are here again this year. Like these bendy guys, these cupcake cars, and this real live Dalek, who we're gonna interview in just a sec. But first, any of the like 100 people that watched last year's Maker Faire video will recognize Shawn Thorsson of the Thorsson and Associates fame. You may be familiar with their work from the Fallout TV show. What have you been up to this past year?
It's kind of tough to really capture most of it. It's been high stress, low drag, lots of everything going on. We built a bunch more laser tag guns for Games Workshop. That was a big project earlier this year.
I actually did their laser tag, it's the Warhammer one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Kill Team Live.
Yeah, I did that at Gen Con a couple years ago. Yeah,
so all the guns that you were holding came out of my shop.
Really?
Yep, so we did, we've done 3 batches for them now. So the first batch was las guns and orc shooters.
Okay, that's the one we did.
Yep, so it was a mad rush. It was a 5-week build start to finish, where it was like, hey, we got this idea. Okay, when do you need it? Right now. Oh my goodness. So anyway, with all of that going on, it was just one of these things where it's like, okay, we did that, cool. And then they came back a little while later with, oh, we also need this model and this model. Like, all right, we do that. Those ones went to the UK. This year they hit me up for another batch. So we knocked those out just in time for San Diego Comic-Con. Okay. Because their event happened to be about the same time. So it was like, all right, well, we're already busy with Comic-Con builds. We did not 1, but 2 Magic Wheelchair cosplays. We dressed up a kid. She wanted to be Skeletor sitting in his throne. Okay. So we made the Bone Throne from the original animated series back in the day. Made her a mask, got her set up with all the wearable stuff and the Havoc staff. And then
honestly, what a great idea for a kid.
Magic Wheelchair, the key thing with them is all of the decisions are made by the kid that receives the chair. So it's all done with no cost to the families. And then more importantly, all of it, it's, like mom and dad can say whatever they want, but ultimately the kid decides what do they want their chair dressed up as. Yeah. So that kid, her thing was she wanted to be Skeletor in his throne. Like, all right, that's what we're doing.
What a cool
and then,
kid.
I was feeling a little cocky, so I told the folks that organized this thing, like, actually, that's a project that I already kind of had on my to-do list, and I pretty much already noodled out exactly how I would do it. So give me another one. Like, we'll do 2. Are you sure? I'm going to hate myself for saying it, and the whole crew's going to quit. But we'll do 2. So we did a second one, and it was a kid dressed as the Tila version of Sorceress, and later in the timeline. But riding Battle Cat. So we made the front half of Battle Cat with the armor and everything else as essentially a 7.5-foot long plush toy that we could strap onto the front of her chair, and it looked like she was sitting in the saddle in the back of it. And that kid, she was great. Like, we made it plush because something about her developmental level really made it seem like she'd be happy with the plush, the tactile element. There were a lot of questions about that. We'd partnered with Mattel, so they provided us with all the digital assets that were actually used to manufacture the action figure. And so we took that toy and shaved off all of the sculpted fur that was on it, so that we could put on faux, plush fur on the final thing. And someone asked me, it's like, are you sure Mattel's going to be okay with that? It's like, don't ask them. I mean, I'd like them to be okay with it, but ultimately, this kid is going to be so happy. And as soon as we did the reveal, and she went over and hugged it, and then spent the next 5 minutes petting it, it's like, see that? I'm the guy. We did this thing. This is what we needed. Yeah, I was really happy with the end result on that one.
And speaking of being happy with the results of something, I finally got to try one of these things. Okay, so This here is something I've wanted to try out for so long. It's one of these invisible shields. And my friend Jason over at Impossible Science brought one along for his magic show, which was absolutely incredible. You gotta check out Jason's magic show if you come to Maker Faire.
What would it take to pass a metal bar through a pane of glass? I'll give you some hints. While this was being designed, I came across a number 36 inches by 36 inches. It had to be 36 by 36. What would it take to make this possible? What would it take? Every monumental change that has ever happened in history has come from an individual that could see beyond answers. I'm just an individual that asked a lot of questions, and now right around now, everyone has the same questions. Is the glass still there?
Oh, come on.
This uncomfortable feeling you have right now is you dusting off your sense of wonder.
He does these pop-up things that I'm gonna be talking to him about in a sec. But this shield here, how it works is it's a lenticular screen, so it's got a bunch of micro lines in it that are refracting light inward and outward at the same time. He's done the math in so that the light is refracting in a way that if I stand in the exact correct position, which is this spot right here, I turn invisible, which is one of the coolest things I think I've ever heard. And it just goes to show that, you know, you think something's impossible. You think becoming invisible, that's impossible. That breaks the laws of physics. It doesn't, because physics can break itself. There you go. I found this paper from when I was graduating high school. He was asking sort of like what we wanted to do when we graduated. And I don't remember answering this, but apparently I said I wanted to be a teacher, a scientist, or an animator. And that's some of the stuff that I do with this YouTube channel right now. Educating people about how the world works and doing some art. That's what I want to do with my life. That's what the people at Maker Faire want to do with their lives. And that's why we're here, baby. These invention conventions like Maker Faire, like the most important thing about them is getting kids into science and engineering. That's a passion I've got in my life outside of doing things like politics and comedy, is getting kids into STEM, pushing education. And Jason at Impossible Science is someone doing exactly those things.
My name's Jason Latimer. I'm a science educator, world champion magician. I spent my life studying applied science to be a better magician. And then I decided to go into education, see if I could inspire kids to ask questions.
He's so cool and doing what I think is the most important possible work right now, getting kids asking hard questions and finding answers to those questions for themselves, not just asking ChatGPT.
Started with museum infrastructure. It worked out really well, got really popular, but there's millions of kids that can't make it to the museums. So we built a version of the museum that actually travels to underserved Title I communities. And we do a pop-up museum in the gymnasium or auditorium, reaching the entire district in a matter of days. Think of it as a science center moving with the speed of a book fair. So we're building 5,000 square feet in 67 minutes. In the Impossible Science Festival, you'll turn invisible, you'll make things fly, you'll read each other's mind, but you'll do it through mathematics, or you'll float an object through static. The idea is if you don't understand it, it will look like magic, but in the end, it's simply STEAM in action. And more importantly, the right question changes everything, because none of us have superpowers. We're just asking a ton of questions to make this possible. In the age of information, to combat the illusion of knowledge that's growing, I decided to retire from magic and go into education, because I felt I could really inspire people to ask questions beyond popular answers using critical thinking by redesigning the nation's science standards into magic tricks.
It's like game theory. And someone else who's turning science education into fun entertainment to get kids excited about STEM is my friend Bam, who you might remember from my open sauce video. And just like Science Bob, she asked me to film her giving a speech about prototyping her ideas at CrunchLabs and BattleBots.
All right, thanks so much everyone for being here today. Today I'm going to be talking all about prototyping. The fun thing about prototyping is a lot of the times you can prototype with literally anything. This talk could be titled Prototyping with Anything as well, because prototyping is all about trying to make use of whatever you have on hand, like de-risk your idea as soon as possible. A prototype is a carrier for your ideas. It's a way that your idea manifests in real life, and you're about to carry that around through your process. If you're moving around the product design process, it's like a road. Your prototype is kind of like a car. It's something that you kind of take along the way. Sometimes you're modifying it to fit your needs, but along your journey, you're taking this prototype with you and you're constantly iterating on it. If you have some coworkers and you have an idea in your head, how do you get that idea across from your head to their head over there? That's through prototyping. Some of us might think that prototyping is just for designers and engineers. programmers. Actually, that's not the case. Prototyping is for anyone because prototyping is kind of like just a mindset.
And I couldn't agree more with Bam. So many things in life are exactly that, a mindset. That thing I'm chasing here, hope, that's also a mindset. And a lot of times, the only thing that can take you from a depressed mindset to a hopeful one is interacting with other people and thinking positively about the future. Last year, Bam gave a talk about creativity and how you can be more creative as a person. So much of it is about novelty. And so much of it is about novelty and combining different things together that you might not have thought to combine together before. And so many of the people at Maker Faire are just doing that with robotics. Like this guy I met in the LED room, who makes these cool structures out of a 3D printed part that he made to connect a bunch of LED bars together.
This is Spaceframe SCAD. I had seen a lot of people's art where it was like, here's this giant piece of illuminated artwork, and I wanted to do that, but I don't have like a studio big space to build it in. I live in a Bay Area apartment, and so I'm like, okay, let me problem solve. I want to make something that is 3D printable, that is large, but I can pack it in a Ziploc bag. I spent a bunch of time figuring things out. I read a bunch of NASA papers on the subject. I just printed all this. It's all kind of like different kind of node types, different kind of node shapes. And I loaded it with LEDs and microcontrollers I built so I could have a nice light show to show people with all my trussing. So there's a group of people in the Netherlands who have a larger scale version of this. And you can actually like really build temporary buildings without a crane, with all that. You can just drop it into place. So it's a very efficient structure, like engineering wise.
I don't know, I kind of think it looks like some abstract furniture. And he seems to agree.
Furniture is another example where I love the look of it, and it's like, okay, I want to make a chair, I want to make tables, shelves would be fun. It's once you've got the ability to make this particular interlocking form, there's other stuff you can do kind of the same. Here, let's make modular, buildable things out of it.
And someone making very similar structures in a completely different way is Mose.
So my name's Chris Mosley. I go by Mose. My company's name is mozeart Designs. I'm down in Santa Cruz. I've been blowing glass 14 years.
Now, I didn't get to talk to him last year because I was busy talking to Pony Trap, but what he does is awesome and exactly in line with what everyone else here is doing, tricking kids into liking science. And I'll let him explain.
This is the social networking project where people walking by can do an art collaboration where we build a sculpture together. Field trips with the kids started Friday. I've only had just the base on Friday, and then we built all this in the last like 3 days. I got here and I was like, oh, we should make a ship. And I just been steering the kids. I saw all those and I was like, all right, I'm gonna steer the kids to make a ship. Let's do this. You can grab a piece of glass and you can place it anywhere you want to. So they literally helped me shape the ship. They placed it where they wanted, and then I just did the welding with the glass, and then we built the ship.
And there was no plan ahead of time.
There was no. I literally had the base, and I was like, think pirate ship. Yeah, one per piece. So there's easily like 80 to 100 people on this.
All right, with that, it was time for me to get back to the foundry and Science Bob's show. Unfortunately, I've got the insider information that Mark's not here this year, but it still should be a good show.
Okay. Hi everyone! For those who don't know me, my name is Bob, and every now and then I'm very lucky in that I get to go on late night television and do science. Here I am with Jimmy Kimmel. The rest of the time, guess what? I was a 6th grade teacher and a 4th grade science teacher. Any teachers in the crowd? All right, give it up for them. They are amazing.
And of course, Bob busted out all the hits.
You guys can help me out with this. Count me down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That goes in there. We get a little bit of foam building up. It's building, it's building. Ooh. All right. So if you've never seen it in person, that's what it, oh wait. I don't know how to turn it off. Hold on. And if it just pops, then it's a helium balloon. If it does anything else, it's something else. Here we go, ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay.
One of my favorite things that Bob does in his shows is this liquid nitrogen cloud. Dumps boiling water in liquid nitrogen, and I get wet. After the show, this podcaster named Dr. Future,
we both see a world that is way better than the current one. Even though spiritually I see the perfection of what is, I also see how much better it can be.
introduced me to Dan Kotke.
There he is.
The 11th employee at Apple, who was there showing off his Apple I computer that he'd reprogrammed to run ChatGPT. So of course I asked it the question I ask every AI.
What is your question for ChatGPT?
What's the recipe to the Philosopher's Stone?
Okay, to the philosopher's stone.
Yeah.
That's a great question, by the way.
Thank you so much. Wow, the true recipient of the Philosopher's Stone is the one who seeks wisdom and understanding rather than material gain. It's so true. Heck yeah, thank you so much. And Dan asked me a question that I think everybody who's ever seen Science Bob has also asked.
So who's Science Bob?
I know Bob is like a TV science guy who would go on these shows and perform science experiments to excite and dazzle an audience at home. And the host.
That's my office!
Now, my introduction to Bob was working on Mark Rober's first elephant toothpaste video with the swimming pool. And I remember thinking, man, I love this guy's energy. And now we're friends and I still love his energy. And Bob is literally doing two of my life goals. He's a teacher and a mad scientist dedicated to tricking kids into learning about stuff. That's what it's all about. That's what everyone here is all about. Don't just take it from me, take it from, say, Jason.
A lot of the stuff that people are building today don't exist anywhere else. And they only exist because somebody took the time to wonder if it could. And so a community that is driven by questions that they could ask rather than rebuilding something that already exists, it's really inspiring. And I think these kids are growing up in an area where the community is inspiring them to say, what questions are you gonna ask? What blank sheet of paper, and what are you gonna draw on that blank sheet of paper in your lifetime? And what questions are you gonna ask to bring that to life?
And as an animator, I really appreciate Jason's blank sheet analogy. For an animator, a blank sheet of paper is a representation of infinite possibility, which can be both unfathomably empowering and also crippling. He's also right. Something I've learned since moving out here to Silicon Valley is that this area is honestly great for fostering an engineering mindset, be it combat robotics with BAM, the tech companies, or conventions like Maker Faire and Open Source. And a really great culmination of all of that is right here in my last interview of the video with Dalek Guy.
Hi, I'm Andrew Maley. I'm one of the co-builders on Dalek Facts, which is standing behind me, which is a Dalek from Doctor Who, the British science fiction program. This was co-built with my son. I was coaching a Lego robotics team at the time. They wanted a mascot for the team and wanted something to put in the local parade. So they all loved Doctor Who and they said, well, can we have a Dalek? And I, at the time, sealed my fate by saying, okay, not knowing what I was going to be getting into. It was more in the original feel of the Daleks. Cardboard, Costco, Apple crates cut up and spray painted, a walk for a head, and they helped me build that. It was very kludged together. After the pandemic, I heard Maker Faire was starting up again, and so I said to him, hey, let's rebuild the Dalek from the ground up, but this time I want to do it screen accurate as possible. So we downloaded the plans, bought some tape measures, and we were off. This is one of the most complicated things I've ever built. It is so multidisciplinary, from the carpentry to painting to the electronics to the mechanics, all that stuff, figuring out interference between systems, being able to make it reliable so it will run an entire weekend and not conk out. Oh, by the way, this is my son. He was the one responsible for a lot of the electronics on board.
At my work, I do a lot of prototyping, like robots and other like devices and such. So it's kind of the whole process of everything on the electrical to like UX and mechanical design kind of thing. And I do most of the electrical, but I kind of get roped into the other stuff as well. And I've got plenty of experience doing all sorts of parts of the project. Thanks to certain someone.
we wear many hats, yes. I became a Maker teacher and taught middle school for 4.5 years and dealing with, 5th through 8th graders and showing them iterative design and all the different techniques of how to tackle things.
Well, I myself was a 5th through 8th grader. Yeah.
Yes. It was always a thing of like showing kids the framework of all the different tools and what you can do with it. And then once they've done something with it, usually if they came to me and said, I've always wanted to build, and I knew I had them. Because now you've got the motivation.
You've got the motivation, and then you've also showed them that, like, hey, this stuff isn't like dark magic and scary. It's actually pretty approachable.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's a lot of the mindset thing of like, oh yeah, no, I can't do that because it's too complicated or hard. It's like, if you just gotta break it down, and then it turns into a whole bunch of things you can do, and then now it's no longer so scary.
For all the makers out there, find the right personal project. The one that's unique, that reflects your own personality, that you can tie yourself to, that you can use to show off what you can do, and is your passion project, because that's the most powerful thing, and it takes you to the most places. This funny old guy has opened up more doors to places that I would have never imagined.
Like the BBC levels of places.
Yeah, at San Diego Comic-Con, the BBC approached us. They had a pop-up that they did of the Dark Archive from Doctor Who, and they said, would you come over? And we were like, yeah, okay. So we arrive over there, and they stop the line and wait for it to clear out, set us up. They got 2 cameramen, and they film us going through the whole thing. Next thing I know, they've posted it on social media all over the internet.
And within like a couple days, it had like 10,000 views, or likes at
least. So,
which
and
was
I mean,
absolutely insane.
Mind-blowing, yeah. That was so affirming. It was like the pinnacle of that. And for you getting your project done and helping you...
Help me get a job.
Help me get a job.
Yeah. My message to the people out there would be rope your friends in on your projects. It helps both with making it so you don't have to do as much, but also they've often got skills that they might be better at you at that would be even more sufficient to do. Like if someone's good at fabric work and they can do that while you're working on electronics or something. It's a wide world out there.
Yeah.
And I want to end this one on a little bit of serendipity. That really captures what I mean when I say coming to these events, connecting with people brings me so much joy.
Recently I connected up with Shawn Thorsson, who does a lot of costuming.
Love Thorsson, yep.
And he
was
showed us some stuff about like epoxy coating things and things like that. So I used that technique, and when I did a makeover on the base of the Dalek to toughen it up and not make styrofoam look like styrofoam, and not make wood look like wood but more like metal. You learn so much along the way, and that's the fun part.
I went to his birthday party. I'm like,
oh, you were there?
I was there, yeah.
Oh my god, I think I was too.
You were there?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. No, wait, were you talking on a couch with a girl with blue hair?
Yes.
Yeah, I was sitting next to you.
Oh my god, that was you!
Oh no. Small world.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
That's great. We helped him out in the magic wheelchair build.
That's why we got to go to Comic-Con.
How we got
That was one
him.
of the things that I interviewed him about.
There we go.
Well, I guess only one thing left to do. Go back to the CrunchLabs booth.
Welcome to the CrunchLabs booth!
See Science Bob and make a fidget spinner. As soon as I get through this line, yeesh. Right, so that was Maker Faire this year. Hope you enjoyed all my little interviews that I did. We didn't get to talk to Will Osman this time, but this is an open sauce. Hope you enjoyed Science Bob's show, and I'll see you next year, right back here at Maker Faire.